6,670 pounds, the 28 RLS J-Flight by Jayco here at Haylet RV of Coldwater, Michigan, fills the role of that late model, half-ton towable couples camping travel trailer. You got the couple chairs in the back, and you've also got a hidden secret weapon here, is that this one is fully accessible with that big super slide closed. So in rear living room travel trailers, two questions we get all the time is, what do I have to do with the chairs in transit to get down the road? And you can see here, you don't have to stack them up. All you have to do is turn the one chair and strap it down. No big deal. And the other question is, what can I get to when the slide's closed? Because at first you're going to open the slide, or you're going to walk in the door and go, ah, man, it's one of those. I mean, yeah, it's nice. I can get to, I can get to the kitchen and I can do all the packing up here, but I can't get to the bathroom and stuff. Aha, but you can. This one comes equipped with a secret weapon, that second entry door. Now, there are some folks I've talked to, it surprises me. They're spooked by a second door here in the bedroom because they're afraid someone's going to walk in and look at them. Guys, you have the exact same deadbolt mechanism you have right here that you have on the main door. So if you're afraid some crazy Michael Myers knife-wielding axe murderer is going to come in at night and get you, you were never worried about that door. Why are you worried about this door, which apparently is closing via the force? Okay, moving up. Moving on up. You can see we can easily get to anything and everything in the bedroom here, including the bed. So if you're on a long trip and you want to bunk down and crash for the night, you can. Now, when we come around here, they left enough room right here where what you do is you step in this little area, open the door, and voila! Full access to the bedroom, the bathroom, any room and every room while you're traveling in this J-Flight. Now I would like to tell you all about the giant rear bay windows and the fact that every window in this thing opens for ventilation, including slide-side windows. Unfortunately, this thing is facing, the rear of it is anyway, facing due east toward the rising sun this morning, and there'd be so much backlight billowing in through this thing that, I'd have terrible footage. What's actually kind of nice, though, is that Jayco accommodates for that, and they actually use some pretty decent blackout type nightshades in these. So instead, I'm going to tell you about how nice the blackout nightshades are on these. So if you do want some privacy, or if you're camping in an area that gets just a ton of sun, I like how that sounds, you can pull these shades down, and it will not only give you more privacy, but it'll dramatically reduce the amount of interior temperature in here because you're just blocking the solar rays and all that radiation. Now, one of the other things I like to talk about as soon as we step inside a J-Flight is the height, because J-Flights are taller inside, and we're going to talk more about that when we get outdoors, because interestingly, they're taller inside without being taller outside. Sounds like some kind of Bob Vila voodoo witch doctor magic, but it is true. These are 6'9" interior linear ceilings. That means that we have a 6'9" sidewall over here as opposed to a 6.5-foot wall. That means the slide is taller. That means the cabinets are bigger. That means the shower is taller. We have a generally bigger open feel in here. I prefer a linear interior height increase like this, or like we find on our Freedom Expresses here at Haylet RV, as compared to vaulted ceilings. Although I don't mind a vaulted ceiling, this is my preference. I think that there's good is 6.5-foot tall normal, like a Cherokee. I think better is with the vault, like a Springdale or a lot of laminated products, and then I think best is this. But that's my own personal preference. You apply how it applies to you and your own experience. There's a lot of optional equipment present in this video. We don't order base model J-Flights. Like you see that kitchen skylight up there with this handy dandy little sunshade. So just like the sidewall windows, if you don't want to be cooked like an ant under a magnifying glass, you can shut that. Now that is a dual layer. And I actually had an interesting question posed to me by a customer this last weekend. They went, I wonder how impact resistant that thing is. I said, well, I'm not really terribly worried about it because it's literally absolutely no different than the shower skylight that we've had in this industry for a very, very, very long time. Unless you hit that thing with a direct hard impact from like a falling tree branch, it's going to be fine. And if you had your camper hit by a direct falling tree branch, you would expect some level of scars, I'm sure. You're not expecting to get out of this thing scot-free. So there's nothing really to worry about there. And again, it is a dual layer, so you do have an extra backup on the interior panel as well. We'll come back to the kitchen in a minute. A lot to talk about there. Real quick, though, I do want to point out these are dual pushback recliners. So these things really can recline all but flat. So I've actually talked to some people with back problems prefer to sleep in something like this over a normal RV bed. So, you know, again, that's a personal item. Now, I mentioned earlier all windows open. Another thing I want to point out is that all the windows are fully trimmed out. Now, you can see how we got the full wood border around them. That's not only just cosmetically neat, you know, it adds some very cool definition to the RV, but these little, the pleated window shade anchors down here, they suddenly have something for the screw to really bite into instead of just a single sheet luan. And I have noticed the number of window coverings here that we need to restring the shades on a Jayco dropped from very few to pretty much none. You know, and basically someone has to go really far out of the way to smash it and break it to make that happen at this stage. Now, not only do you have slide-out breeze windows, you also have recliner side breeze windows, because these side windows over here and the opposing one will also open for ventilation. So you have maximum ventilation throughout this thing. Above the rear recliners and here above the sofa, we have just a little extra kick of bonus storage, but notice something, guys. These are actually self-strutted, so you don't have to juggle them open with your head. That's one of those things that a lot of people when they shop like this. They don't open cabinets, and I'm encouraging you to open cabinets. And there's a few reasons why, and I can show you all those right here in this one little frame. First of all, again, it is self-strutted. Secondly, it makes you take notice of the type of handle and hardware they have in here. They have a big residential handle on this, so I can actually get it open. The third thing I want you to do is reach around here, and this is called the stile. I want you to reach around it, and I want you to feel where this piece and this piece connect. In a Jayco, you're going to feel that it's made of wood, and it's screwed together, not stapled together. Now, you're not, well, it's not that you can't, it's that there's no reason you should ever logically pocket screw particle board cabinetry in a RV made with, you know, lesser expensive materials. Now, I have seen some brands trying to do that so they can say, oh, we have pocket screwed cabinetry. But when you pocket screw through particle board, you compromise the structure and you actually prematurely begin the breakdown process. Now, this is a big trifold sleeper sofa, and what's nice, if you see our picture tour here at Haylett RV, you'll see where we actually open that right up so that you can see how much sleeping space you have in here. Because this is a couples camper that can actually sleep 4 to 6 depending on how you lay people down. Because you got your master bed for 2, you've got your hide bed here for +2. Now, the manufacturer's going to say that's another +2. I'm more of a realist. I disagree. I say that's only a 1, but when that hide-a-bed is open, you can still utilize this lie-back recliner back here. So you can comfortably sleep 6 in here if you need to, in what is really designed as a couple's camping floor plan. So those are not all bad things. You can see the extra little accent lighting under the sofa. You're going to find that in a couple places. Like, you'll actually find it right under the kitchen counter here as well. Now, what I like about those is during the day, you don't take real active notice of it. It just makes the camper feel a little bit brighter and nicer. It's like a subconscious, like, ooh, nice thing, but you don't really notice it. At night, though. At night, it's the perfect night light, especially if you do have those grandkiddos or guests over. So, you can see even the hallway window over there opens for air. Again, everything we're looking at here, everything I've discussed is one of the reasons why J-Flights are not the least expensive brand of camper. Actually, in their category, in a wood skeleton travel trailer, J-Flights are not only the most expensive, but they've also been the single #1 selling thing in the world of RVs since 2005 and counting. So these guys are really big time on top of the game. And it's all these little things, because they're not afraid to spend a little money where it matters, because things you're going to use every day, like the windows, you're going to use those windows pretty much every single day, guys. They spent a little more money on their dining table arrangement here with that free floating table base. So what I like about it is a lot of people like a freestanding table and chairs as opposed to a booth. And we'll touch on that in just a second. But this is my personal favorite setup because it offers the most function and flexibility. The reason a lot of people like table and chairs is because if you're bigger like me and you're carrying a little too much around the midsection, like I am, well, I can cheat the table over toward my wife and kid. So I can give myself some extra room as I require it. But the reason I like this over a freestanding table and chairs is, one, the butt sit part is cushioned, you know, so you're not sitting on just hardwood the whole time. But secondly, this table is elliptical, and we still maintain the use of this space as a bonus sleeper. That table can come over here as a coffee table or a movie night dinner table or a card table for friends. We can take it outside. We can do anything we want, and we do still maintain storage below the dinette seating here that a freestanding table will lack. So this is my personal favorite arrangement right here. Now, another thing to talk about on the slide outs, and we'll talk about this more outside, but I want to show you guys. If you lift up the carpeting of the slide, right here, you see that double-sided thermal foil stuff. This, all J-Flights, even a J-Flight SLX with a slide-out has an insulated slide for, which is a big deal. Now, if you've got a really good eagle eye, you're looking at this flooring right here, and you're going, oh my God, all they ever do on a J-Flight is talk about plywood. Why do I see structure board in the slide floor? And there's a very good answer for that. I'm glad you didn't ask, but... folks at home, the reason they do that is this is a special type of flooring called PMAX, designed specifically and only for slide-out floors. It is thicker than the plywood floor decking they actually used to use in the J-Flight flooring. The reason that they quit doing that is because the middle of the slide-out, it actually, especially if the slide was in, it could kind of moonwalk and bounce and buckle a little bit. It wasn't really breaking down, but they didn't like the foot feel of it. So they went to this stuff, which is thicker, heavier. Because the material's thicker, it's a little better insulated, though that's not the real reason they do it. They do it because it's thicker, stronger, gonna last longer. That's the point right there. Other little detail stuff, we've talked about the little window anchors, but little stuff like this, like more lights, having easy light switches as opposed to you know, individual, you have to go click, click, click kind of lights. And one of those switches was for the accent lighting under the sofa, by the way. It's just little detail stuff like that in a J-Flight that adds up. Now, we're going to start working our way from top down here. We've got more lights, and they're high-intensity lights here than almost anything else in this category. When we look over here in the kitchen, remember that taller ceiling I was telling you about? Well, it's the reason that we have the shelves right here. And actually, if we're going to talk storage, hold on, let me back up. It really all starts right by the refrigerator. We start with that 6'9" tall pantry next to that 8 cubic foot stainless steel refrigerator freezer. So we have a bigger refrigerator and freezer. Now as we come over here, you've got a nice trash can space under the sink next to drawers to the floor. Notice that we have 4 drawers all the way down to the floor of a J-Flight to give you more storage space. Then as we come up here, you see that we have that shelved kitchen storage to give you maximum potential kitchen storage capacity. That extra ceiling height and the fact that they're willing to spend that extra touch of money down here, it all adds up to more storage. And tell me when more storage is ever a reason I got a camper with too much storage, I better trade it. No one's ever said that in their lifetime. Now notice that we have power outlets on the walls where they're easy to get to. That's actually one advantage that wood skeleton trailers have over laminated trailers, because most laminated trailers this size have an 1.5 inch wall. And that receptacle is actually deeper than an 1.5 inch wall can support. So this means we don't have a thermal hole in the wall that is a structural weak point. You can actually just install outlets pretty much anywhere you want on a wood frame wall. Real tile backsplash, by the way. You're not being lied to with a brick print wallpaper. And updated countertops. At the late end of 2018, the J-Flights went to what's called thermal foil countertops. Sealed edge pressed membrane countertop here in the kitchen area that allows for a recessed sink. And what's cool about that is maximizing prep space, but also you've got your sink cover here for like little cutting board action, then you got your little aluminum roll-away drying rack that's been very popular. And with the shape and the character of this, I call this the Swan Lake high-rise faucet, complete with, you know, sprayer head action. Sounds like a G.I. Joe commercial. All right, entertainment over here. So they put the biggest size TVs in here they can. That's actually an option we apply to these. But what I like is they put a double jointed articulating swing arm in this so that this TV can face anywhere for anytime viewing, comfortable for anybody. Now as we go down here in this category, again, J-Flight spending more money on the chipsets for their stereos versus anybody else. So if you start looking at the feature setup of a lot of things, it's going to say Bluetooth, DVD, CD, stereo, inside outside speakers. And that is all true. It's true here, it's true there. But they've gone with a higher end speaker system that has HDMI port right on the face, as well as a USB charger right on the face. And why have they done that? Because of those little Amazon Fire Sticks, Chromecast, Roku sticks. You can plug that in here and charge it, and suddenly we are now streaming media friendly in a category that is not typically streaming media friendly. And I do want to back up real quick. I did mention that this is an 8 cubic foot fridge freezer, but so that you know, that means this is 33% larger than the normal fridge usually found in this class. So that's I think, an important factor there. Let's move this here out of the way, move on up to the bathroom. Now, historically, there was the 26 RLS J-Flight, then the 27 RLS with a walk-through middle bathroom, and then we got our way up here to the 28 RLS. And this one has a full private bathroom with excellent floor space, standing taller corner shower, because you remember it is taller here. And I mean, all the room in the world if you want to stretch out, get dressed. If two people need to kind of manipulate the bathroom at the same time in the morning, you know, one of those kind of situations, you actually have the room in here to do that. Other little detail things. We've got porcelain bowl stool with a foot flush so that your face doesn't need to be near your business. I already mentioned how this shower is taller, but what does that do for you? Well, if I can get my... I'm not left-handed. Come on, left hand. Come on, left hand. There we go. You gotta yell at it sometimes. Well, this is what I mean by the taller shower height. A big goofball like me, I can stand in here. I've got all the room I need. I don't have to have my head in the bubble. I can stand with my head against the wall, not in the bubble. I'm perfectly fine and comfortable in here. And a lot of people ask me, Josh, what brand of RV do you camp in? And it's actually a J-Flight, and that ceiling height in the shower was one of the major factors that led me to that. I do believe there are other very, very fine campers. Don't get me wrong. I've always said, and I do believe, that every RV is the best in a different reason, but that was one of my factors. Maybe it's not one of yours. Now, a little thing here. We got this little bitty LED blue light right here that they basically borrowed from their cousin, the Jayco Eagle. Why is it here? Not for daytime use, for nighttime use. In the nighttime, that one blue LED light makes this whole room glow just enough that you can see your way to the bathroom and to the sink and out of here without really ever bothering anybody. Plus, for dry camping folks, it is basically no power use. It is next to zero power. Walk around queen bed, and it is a queen bed, 80-inch residential size queen that queen sheets are going to fit. So, one of the kind of things that we laugh about in this industry is like, this has a Simmons mattress. It's got a name that you've heard of, a name you can feel good about owning, but we all know this is not the Simmons mattress you're going to put in your house. You know, I don't mind saying that because it's not any less true for any other brand or any other dealer. It's a better bed than most brands, but it's still not the greatest bed in the world that you're ever going to sleep on. So a lot of people are going to plan on replacing the mattress or putting a foam topper on it. Well, 60 by 80 is a much, much easier shape to work with. And for a tall person like me, this is a tall person friendly camper. I like that. Easy walk around space. Our side stands have household outlets for phone chargers, CPAP machines for those who need a little extra assistance. Now, you know, there's so many reasons people are using CPAP machines now. It's amazing the benefit they can have for people. They don't scale down by going to just a shelf over the bed in the full-blown J-Flight. They do spend the money on a full cabinet. Again, little extra weight, little extra money, a little more function and feature. TV ready wall right across from the master bedroom. But also notice this extra tall window here. This is something I think they may have borrowed from a competitor called Cherokee RV that we carry here at Halitz. They do the same thing, big tall window right here. So if you wake up and you sit up in bed, you can see out that window towards your campsite. And we have already seen how that second entry door right there gives you full access to the bathroom, which basically means you have full access to the entire RV when the slide's closed. And that's saying something on an RV this size. That's kind of tricky to find sometimes. Now, I've done a lot of talking about the little extra things they do on J-Flights that are not commonly found through the industry. You'll find some brands that may do any number of the things I've talked about, but you'll never find another brand that does all of the things that I've mentioned because they're not quite willing to move up to the budget level of a J-Flight. And again, I understand that, you know, budget's a big thing to be messing with, guys, but obviously J-Flight's found the right mix of features versus budget to give people what they're looking for. Like you see that big, full pass-through storage compartment right there with wider, taller baggage doors. And did you notice even plywood under the bed decking? You're not going to find general OSB construction anywhere other than that specific PMAX floor decking in the slide floor, which is, like I said, bigger, thicker, stronger than what plywood actually can be in that area. It's just one of those interesting things the way it worked out. And they did a lot of testing on it. For them to put anything that is structure boarded in this thing, I know Jayflight did testing because, the guy who designs eagles at Jayflight, one of the things he used to do is if a brand of a water heater manufacturer came in and said, we want you to put our water heaters in your product, he would say, well, does Jayco use it? Because he knew that Jayco did the testing so that he didn't have to. And I think that's so telling of the respect that other brands have for Jayco. We carry so many different brands of different things here at Haylett RV, and the one thing that they always say is, they go, oh, you carry Jayco too? Man, that is a nice product. Like, they always have respect for it. They know that it's a serious competitor with a serious product. So what are the things that set it apart? Well, pretty much everything I'm going to tell you about on the outside are things that contribute to the fact that this has double the full camper warranty of anybody else out there. When it comes to RV warranties, there's either a 1 year or a 2 year. Now there's this other magical thing called a 3-year structural warranty out there, but 3-year structural warranties statistically cover things that don't fail. So this has twice the peace of mind and coverage of basically anything else out there, because the couple brands that were trying to match Jayco's warranty, pretty much everybody else has fallen off. I don't know if it's because their quality control couldn't handle it or what, but here's Jayco still killing it with double the warranty of anybody else in this category. But then again, maybe that's another reason why this is the best-selling RV on the planet. Right up front here, we've got higher grade power tongue jack and higher grade awning. They move faster. It's just one of those high torque, higher speed things. You'll see that every Jayflight also rides on a custom engineered chassis. And the way you can tell that is because the A-frame integrates right into the chassis. The A-frame is not bolted below the chassis of a Jayflight. And this is how they have a taller inside without being taller outside, because the floor is actually lower. So why do they do that? Now you're going to look at it and say, probably because it's, does that mean it's stronger? And that's the first thing I would have thought of too. But talking to even Jayco engineers, they say, strength-wise, we've actually tested it both ways, and it really boils down to about the same. But what it lets them do is give you a taller camper inside with a lower center of towing gravity outside. And I think that's just a smart, awesome mixture of things they put together there. Now, other detail stuff. I already mentioned how the baggage doors are wider and taller, but notice that they're bigger and badder on both sides of the camper, not just the door side. Some brands will put a big door on the other side because that's what you shop. And then when you get to your campsite, you're like, oh, I got the tiny door over here. It's not that you can't live with it, it's just that it's less convenient. You're also going to find that even the basic Jayflight SLX has this. All LED tail and marker lights, not incandescents here, and LED tail onlys. Plus, they don't have to do this, but they take the extra time to top seal all exterior components, because this should be a sealed component on its own, but they take the extra time to just give another water barrier on this thing. I've talked 100 times about the windows all being able to be open for airflow. You can also see they're heavily tinted. Not all travel trailers in this category have tinted windows. Tinted windows, they might block a little bit of the sunlight coming in from the outside. I really don't feel like it's too much personally, but they also prevent furniture fade. They also keep the RV cooler. They improve your privacy. There's a lot of good benefits to it. And you see a ladder on the back here. I believe that's another one of the options we apply to these, because Jayco's don't just have a walkable roof, they have the most walkable roof. Their roof is weighted for 50% more weight than the next guy. It's massive. It's a really big deal. Full outside utility shower with hot and cold water, not a cold water only sprayer port. I hope you never need a spare tire, but thank God it's here. And I love how they never miss the opportunity to let you know, by the way, we're the best selling thing there's ever been. As we swing around over here, the awning is easy tilt. It is LED lit. And a more recent update at the time of this filming, they have upgraded to an in-awning speaker package. Because you notice there's no speakers on the sidewall here. They're actually installed in the heads of the awning up there. So why did they do that? Well, a couple reasons. First of all, that is one less 4-inch hole you have to drill through the sidewall of this RV. That's one less point you have to worry about leaks and insulation, etc. So that's easier and better. Now, when the number one complaint at campgrounds is exterior lights at night. The number 2 complaint is noise. So when the speakers are mounted up here above that stovetop vent, for you to hear them down here at ground level, you have to crank that volume way, way up to 11. Well, then all you're doing is blowing away the dude in the toy hauler or whatever next to you over here, and he always thinks your music is garbage, and little does he know that their music is garbage, and yours is the one that's good music. Never mind. Anyway, it's not that that's ever happened to me, and I'm bitter about it or anything, but neither here nor there. My point is, when the awning opens up, the speakers point down. They point at your campsite, so you can keep the volume where you're going to hear it just fine, but the neighbors won't, and then everybody gets along just fine. You don't have to deal with the nosy seasonal neighbor lady peeking through the window shades, you know, giving you the stink eye, as it were. Never mind, moving on. So triple entry sets for both doors for easy coming and going. J-Flights, your main entry door here is a wider 30-inch entry door, which the reason I like that is if I'm out grilling and I want to walk in with that platter, I don't have to try to do that tricky sideways diagonal step and not spill everything that I just spent all that time cooking for. Down here, let's talk some things that nobody else is matching. How about Goodyear Endurance radial tires, rated at 80 PSI for up to 87 mile per hour. These are the best tires in this category, and frankly, they're about the best tires in the towable industry, period. Luxury fifth wheels, other than Jayco's, don't even have these. Now, God forbid, because, you know, these are going to hold up better to, like, road heat and stress and whatnot, but at the end of the day, any tire can be punctured by road debris. God forbid that happens. What do you do? Well, Jayco builds in a galvanized steel blowout guard here, so that God forbid you do have that blowout, you're going to have a little more time to get this thing brought down from highway speeds to get on the side of the road to change your tire. I hope none of that happens, guys, but you're going to be a little better protected here. And that's why these are maybe a pound heavier. That's why these are $1 more. That's why this has double the warranty of anybody else out there. It's 100 little things that all add up together to get you there. By the way, this does have a simple solar prep on the tongue. I always fail to discuss that on J-Flights, but pretty much every camper does. But there you go, I made mention of it. So, if you like this, or you're looking for something, you know, maybe you don't need all of this. Maybe you're like, yeah, I get it, Josh. This thing is awesome. This is just a sweet camper. But it's too heavy for me, or it's too much money, or whatever. Well, guess what? I've got other trailers here with similar layouts, like a Passport 2890, like a Cherokee rear living, like all kinds of different things above, below, around this. And we also, of course, have this one here. So it doesn't matter what you're looking for. I've got over 500 some RVs in stock from the very most popular brands in the entire marketplace. Whatever you're looking for, we've got it at Haylett RV, and they're on wheels. We can get them from here to there. I don't care where you live. We make deals happen because we do hitching, pieces, parts, trades, financing, truck and trailer package deals, and everything between. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.